way there's no way they're going to get. What are you going to say that him being a pedophile is fake news? That's fake news. I mean, how long can they keep that up? I don't care where he goes. He goes to his desk and go to the moon. It's going to come out. There's no question about it. It's going to drip in and out, and everybody's going to find out exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And they knew what he did before they even pounced on this character.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were getting with this guy. They knew what they were getting with this guy, but it was the only way they could win. This guy was the only guy on earth, because that group of people on that debate stage in 2015 didn't have a prayer.
Yeah.
This guy, because he's got like a from the thespian art, he's got that, the reality show. So he had a leg up for that.
His claim to fame. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was the whole thing.
I always say that he's a. I always call him an idiot, but I always say that he is a very, very smart con man and grifter.
Well, sure. Well, that's why he was with, and believe this or not, that's why he was with Epstein, because Epstein had a $1 billion cash flow out of Russia or whatever it was. I mean, whoever gave him his dough, he wasn't buying those shacks on credit. I guarantee you that. The island and the planes and all. I mean, he didn't have a job. He didn't work. I mean, he was a successful pimp.
Right.
But even a successful pimp doesn't end up with that. Those are true humans. So he had some underworld money coming from Russia, probably, because those oligarchs are as crooked as you can get.
Russia, Saudi Arabia, you name it.
Yeah, he's going to put his schnozzle up to anywhere who's got a money supply, just like his family. I mean,
this is why I love you, Jim, because you always tell it like it is. But we are hitting a heartbreak, so I got to let you go.
I know. You have a great show, Dave.
Thank you so much for calling in. All right, have a good weekend. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. Dan Schaefer filling in. We will see you all after the break.
Think Theory Radio.
Dr. Hande Ozdinler, she is a neuroscientist, but also an artist.
It seems that the larger we go, like, the galaxy, the sky, and then also as small as we go, right, the nanostructures, the atomic interactions, or cellular interactions, there is so much resemblance, like there is a secret or there is an unspoken symmetry.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
This is Tony Moret. I'm an estate planning attorney who drafts living trusts and wills for my clients. You have probably heard my ads here on WCPT for the last few years. Your fellow listeners, when we have completed their plans, say, I wish I had done this sooner. It wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. We can complete your estate plan within 30 days or less. There are certainly decisions that need to be made, but my 30-plus years of experience will help guide you through this process. There may never be a perfect time to start, but whenever I'm asked when is the best time, my answer is always the same. Now is the best time, while it is on your mind. Being able to tell your family that you have an estate plan in place, that all the details have been taken care of, will be a great relief to both yourself and those you care for the most. Our initial consultation is without charge, and there is no obligation. My phone number is 847-996-0496, and my website is moretlawoffice.com, spelled M-O-R-E-E. I look forward to speaking with you.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Hello, everyone. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. This is Dan Schaefer filling in for Patti. I just wanted to give a shout out to our friend Jim, who always calls in, and I love our friend Jim from Chicago because he's the optimist to my pessimist. But it's good to hear his perspective, and he's got a lot to share. and I've learned a lot from him. I also want to, again, give a thanks to everybody here at WCPT who's making everything work. They're doing, like I said, some improvements, and sometimes things don't work, and then everyone jumps in and they make it work. So we do have a guest coming up to talk about, they keep handing me things, from FairVote, Illinois. We're going to chat with Rebecca Williams about ranked choice voting, which I will let the smart people in the room just explain that. But we will also have John Fugelsang on at 6:30, I believe. He has a new book, Separation of Church and Hate. John Fugelsang is one of my favorite people. And I think that we have to do a promo, and I'm not going to do this as well as Joan or Patty, but Separation of Church and Hate is a New York Times bestseller, and to celebrate, John is hosting a book tour, pay-per-view comedy special recorded in D.C. on Saturday, November 15th at 8 p.m. Central. You can watch him on your computer, tablet, smartphone, or cast to your TV. If you want to meet hook.live-John F, you can order the pay-per-view package, or you can... oh, sorry. There we go. That's where I was. If you are the second caller right now, I'm looking at Lady B because she's probably looking at me. If you're the second caller right now, 773-763-9278, you will win a stream code to watch the show live on demand. You can call 773-763-9278 right now. As a disclaimer, contests running on WCPT are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. One entry per person, one winner per household. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com. And you can also click on the contest tab. This is why I don't do these things. This is why they ask me to do these things. But second caller gets a live stream. So there you go. And they are calling, so that's cool. Yeah, so we were chatting about all the things, the corruption that's going on in the country, and I was saying Jim from Chicago is really good at bringing that up. Do we have a caller for it? Oh, no, okay. Yeah, and I just, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of distractions going on these days, and it's, I don't know. We talked about this yesterday, where there's just so much going on, and people are just getting tired. And I always say this. Stop getting tired, okay? I get it. Practice self-care. But realize that it's not going to end. We still have 3 more years of this, and we have to be vigilant. We have to be awake. We have to be cognizant of things that are going on and helping people. Patty talked about this yesterday too. Sometimes watching the news all day is not the best solution. That's what I do, but it's not for everybody. But we have to be aware of everything that's going on, and to the extent that you are able to help, to the extent that you are able to get involved, to the extent that you have resources that you can give, we need to just be nice people, and be supportive for everybody. I was talking with a friend who's part of a organization that is helping support drop off and pick up from for school, a local school. And it's the number of text messages that I get basically saying, like, I'm checking in, I'm here, we're clear, there's a car, there's this, there's that. Those are the people that we need, you know, and to the extent you can do that, so kids feel safe to go to school, so parents feel safe that they can take their kid to school. I know Border Patrol is allegedly leaving Chicago. The number of memes that I've seen about, like, oh, so once winter hits, and I'm like, oh, it's 60 degrees right now, so cool. But apparently Border Patrol is leaving, but ICE is sticking around. And we just need to make sure that we are supporting everybody. Okay, that's kind of my thing. You really don't realize how much it means to somebody when you just, like, you extend a hand, you know, to say that I'm here. You really don't know what that means, and whenever I do it, I don't care what it means. The fact is I'm doing it, and it's just, I'm here. That's it. It's done. Good deal. And so I think that Border Patrol, those articles that I was reading about them leaving, that's step one. But like I said, ICE isn't going anywhere, allegedly. I haven't seen anything about that happening. But just be there for everybody. And oh, okay. Sorry, Lady B is just pointing at me. Hello. We've got Steve Park Ridge. How are you, Steve?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Hey, you had invoked John Fugelsang's name, and I had the pleasure of meeting John and Stephanie Miller, Malcolm Nance, Jason Johnson, et al. At an event in Nashville, Tennessee in 2019 in October. It was called Politicon, and what the premise was, it was bringing together the left and right punditry, and in all of that, I actually was able to have my picture taken with both of them and talk politics, etc. And, you know, they're leaders in our movement. And I don't know how many people saw the Hannity interview with Steph.
I did.
2 or 3 days ago. Okay. In any event, she trolled him because he asked her this question about the decline. What did she think of Joe Biden's decline mentally? And she immediately went off on Trump.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it live, but it's on Facebook and probably YouTube. And it's just marvelous that she could get on his show. I doubt she'll ever be invited back. But I just thought I'd mention that to you, that, you know, you don't always get to meet these people. I used to hobnob with sports celebrities. Now it's all political celebrities. And it's just we're at a very critical point. I'm a 76-year-old.
Yeah. And
I was a Vietnam protester back in college. It might have cost me wow, can you hear the trucks out here honking? It's scary on 88. In any event, I've been at the No Kings. I marshaled both women's marches in 2018, 2019.
Right.
People my age can afford to get skin in the game.
Yeah.
We've got affluence. We have wisdom, and we have children, and I now have a grandchild on the way.
Oh, congratulations.
And by golly, thank you. By golly, I can't think, I don't spend all my day with politics, but I do have a Facebook page nearing 400,000 followers, believe it or not.
Oh, my goodness.
It's called Concerned Citizen. I've been at it for a little over 8 years, And I found social media to be a platform to get the word out. And it's only now during the second term of Trump that the trolls have really come alive.
They've been trolling me too. And I've actually seen your page, actually, and thank you for doing that. We are running into a hard break, so I've got to let you go. But thank you very much for everything, and congratulations on the new grandbaby. And we will be right back, driving home with Patti Vasquez.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight, a low temperature of 56 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Saturday, partly sunny with a high temperature of 68 degrees, and winds out of the west at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Sunday, sunshine, cooler with a high of 48, northwest winds up to 25 miles an hour. Monday, sunny with a high temperature of 46 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 64.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. The Hal Sparks radio program.
Walmart's financial chief, John David Rainey, said tariffs are going to be inflationary. There is no disputing that. Walmart has said these costs are going to be passed on to the consumer. 60 to 70% of the things that are in your local Walmart come from China. It might as well be an Alibaba outlet store. And they're about to find out the hard way.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
No detours, no distractions, just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And hello, everybody. Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. This is Dan Schaefer filling in for Patti on this Friday. I do want to reiterate that this is a very, very beautiful day in Chicago. The weather is gorgeous. We had snow like 3 days ago. But now it's like it feels like spring, and anybody who's grown up here like I have, it is one of my favorite times of the year. Right, so like I love fall. I love the first snow of winter, and then I'm kind of over it. But I love when Chicago can't make up its mind, and it's just kind of like here we are type thing. And it's also kind of like how politics can't make up its mind these days. And we're going to chat in a minute with two really awesome individuals who are getting just set up in the station, so you have to listen to me ramble for a little bit. But it's an interesting time in the country, and also in the state. And people don't realize that Illinois they call it a blue state, but there are a lot of red parts of the state. And depending on which counties or districts you're in, those are not so blue, right? And everyone, when they think about Illinois, they just think Chicago. But it's a good state, actually. Yep. And we have in the station right now Ben Nagy, who is from FairVote, Illinois. You're also the new executive director?
I'm going to be the new statewide coordinator.
Oh, coordinator. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
My notes. Okay. All right. Well, welcome. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. A little frazzled because there's some crazy traffic coming into Jeff Park right now. Rebecca, who's supposed to be here, is running in.
Yeah, I was. Okay. All right. Well, hey, but you're here, so that's good.
Yes. Glad to be here.
So I had this conversation with yesterday's host. It was my former professor in economics, and I asked, like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking when you wanted to join FairVote Illinois?
Well,
what caused you to join this movement?
That's a great question. Well, I mean, number one, I've been doing a lot of volunteering and organizing on the side, and this was something I really wanted to do as a career. Previously, I was a pharmacist.
Okay.
That was not working out for me, and so I wanted to make a change, and ranked choice voting was something that was on my radar. It was something I supported. I hadn't really considered, like, gunning full focus for that. And then this opportunity came up. Rebecca, who is the current executive director and statewide organizer, was looking for somebody to step in. So I applied, and I'm just, so thrilled that they wanted to take me on.
That's cool. So I think ranked choice voting works, and it should work, but there are individuals who fear the change of the traditional voting system. So can you just explain how it's different and how it actually, in my opinion, is beneficial?
All right. I'm going to do my best here. This is because I'm still pretty new to this role.
That's okay.
But when it comes to ranked choice voting, what I like about it, what I see is the advantage of it is that, as the name suggests, when you're in the ballot box, you get to rank candidates for a particular office according to, what priority you would want them to be at in a runoff, essentially. Mm-hmm. That's the goal of ranked choice voting, is to avoid having to come back to the ballot box for another vote, runoff. Like what happened with the mayor campaign for the city of Chicago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that kind of thing, because it helps people rank what they want to do, and then based on the number of first place votes, essentially, determines whether or not you go into a runoff, and then previous candidates, like lower in the list with less votes, their votes will get reapportioned to the other candidates, and through that process, we have kind of instant runoff effect, and that's how ultimately the winning candidate would be decided.
Okay. So when you would normally have, in a two-party system, two candidates, but in this situation, you'd actually have individuals that maybe didn't get the majority, but then it kind of goes down the line. And then the individual that, in some cases, more people chose as their second or third choice actually moves up the list.
That's my understanding, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's mine as well, so I'm good. Oh, my goodness. And now we have Rebecca. Yes. We were just talking about how traffic is ridiculous. Grab a seat. We were just talking about all the things. So get yourself settled. So where throughout the country have we seen ranked choice voting be successfully applied?
That's a great question. Well, there was some very recent victories.
Right here. Okay. So I'm set to talk, right?
Yes, thank you.
All
Welcome.
right.
Okay, so we have Rebecca Williams, who is also part of FairVote Illinois.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So sorry for my tardiness.
You're fine.
But really happy to be here with Ben. So most of the areas where we've seen ranked choice voting successfully applied throughout the country has been local municipalities. So that's cities, and most recently, a couple cities used it in these elections we had just a couple weeks ago. So places like New York City, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Those are a few examples in just the most recent elections.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was at, chatting with Ben. I put him on the spot. He's new on the job. So my one question was, we have people who are traditionalists, so it's just like the two-party system type thing, not the ranked choice. And so I'm all for ranked choice voting. I think that we need to do it, but I feel like there are people that are still on the fence about it. How do you promote it?
Yeah, so definitely one of the benefits of ranked choice voting is that it can help people, or it can enable people to vote for third parties to get out of that two-party system. But it's also really effective within the paradigm of the two-party system. So, for instance, within primaries, if you're using ranked choice voting within primaries, obviously you're voting you're using ranked choice voting to vote for a Republican candidate and for a Democrat candidate. And what's happening there is you're ensuring that the two candidates that you send to the general election are the strongest candidates, right? The ones that were actually preferred by the majority of the people who voted within that primary. So I think that's really good both for each of the parties because, again, they're sending their strongest candidate forward, but it's also kind of ensuring that you're not necessarily getting fringe candidates. That can sometimes happen in our current system when you have competitive primaries of 3 or more candidates. In a plurality system, you can have people winning with, definitely less than 50% plus one. And then if they're in a solidly red or blue district, they go on to win the general, and then they've got some pretty extreme views. And, that's where we find a lot of members of any governing body, whether that's the state, whether that's Congress, finding it hard to work together. So I think that's where the primaries are an example where it's still really good. But the other thing I would say is the two-party system is not going away for a long time. While ranked choice voting enables people to support politicians outside of it, it's not as it's smashing that away. And so I wouldn't say, if you're someone who is a really proud Democrat, probably all of the listeners here are Democrat, or a really proud Republican, this isn't interfering with that. It's just, again, making it so you are better able to elect the best members within those parties.
Right. And we're gonna be hitting a break here in a little bit if you're fine sticking around. I don't want to deprive you of time.
Okay. Yeah.
But so before we hit the break, in theory, it's you can vote for somebody based on their views on Medicare, Medicaid, but maybe you don't necessarily agree with them on like taxation. But you can vote for that person, and you can vote for another person based on their views, and it kind of just makes you. I don't know. It makes your vote go further. I guess I would say. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird. Like you said, the two-party system is not going anywhere. But this ability is to be, I like this, but I also like this. And then there you go.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, there are plenty of elections where the voters really only have two choices. They only have the Democrat and the Republican, and that's kind of a bummer that they only have the two. But for those elections in which they have more choices, they are able to express that choice more fully.
All right. So we do have to go to a break because I have this on my notes here, and they always yell at me when I miss the break. But we are here with Rebecca and Ben from FairVote, Illinois, and we'll be back after this break here on Driving Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much.
WCPT replay.
I am, of course, thrilled to be joined by Simon Rosenberg. There is an incredible body of language and thought and argumentation around encouraging violence on the right against those other people. There is no such ideology on the left. It just doesn't exist. In fact, our movement is desperately, ferociously fighting to preserve rule of law and democracy. Battling liberalism is the central undertaking of our collective project. And we've seen millions and millions and millions of people this year, tens of millions, protest legally without any incident. It's incredible how many people have been on the street this year with no incidents of any kind. Mm-hmm. All of this is we're channeling our frustrations in the way that you do in a democracy.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And hello, everybody. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. I am in the studio with Rebecca Williams and Ben Nagy from the FairVote, Illinois, and we're talking about ranked choice voting. And we were trying to figure out how other states are doing it. Illinois, maybe. How do we implement that here?
All right, you want me to take this, Ben?
All right. Start, I'll jump in.
Yeah, so there are a couple levels here. In order to implement it at the state level, if we want to use it for, say, our General Assembly, for Congress, for President, all of that, that would be something that the state legislature needs to pass a bill for.
Okay.
So that's the high level. However, at the municipal level, the voters have more control.
Okay.
So if you're a home rule municipality, that's some jargon, but that's most of the places in Illinois. If you're home rule, then voters have the ability to vote for it through a binding referendum. So far, we've done that in 3 places, in Evanston, Oak Park, and Skokie, and all of those voters have passed it with a resounding yes.
Okay.
Now, I will say, actual implementation, it's been a little bit stalled. It was supposed to start in Evanston in 2025, and it didn't actually start. The Cook County clerk was questioning whether that actually is legal. We say it is. The Illinois Constitution says that voters have the right to choose how they elect their local officials, and we think that includes, using ranked choice voting. That's a way they can choose. But
okay.
Yeah.
So, what's the follow up for that then? Like, are we like Attorney General level or what's?
Yeah. So, currently that is in court. Our Reform for Illinois, which is it's a statewide org that does a lot of great work, and they're actually based in Evanston. Mm-hmm. They have brought some litigation against the clerk, and they are hoping to make it so they actually will be compelled to move forward with implementation. But we haven't actually gotten a solid decision from that yet.
Okay.
In the meantime, we have realized, this could be something that we run into in other areas. We hope to keep passing this in other areas.
Yeah.
Again, we're 3 for 3 with voters. Everywhere where we've asked voters, do you want to use ranked choice voting? They have said, heck yes. And so they would probably say yes in other places, and we want to ask them in other places, but we also want to make sure it actually gets implemented.
Yeah.
So another thing we're looking into doing is potentially just passing a small bill through the state legislature that would just clarify that this is legal. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't really change anything. It would still be the exact same process that voters need to vote for it through a binding referendum and everything. But it puts in the language that, yes, ranked choice voting is legal at the municipal level for Illinois.
Do you have state legislators that are on board to help you pass a piece of legislation?
Yes. Okay. So So far,
you don't need to name names or anything.
Oh no, I'm fine with naming
but please
names.
do, because we'd have them on the show.
Yeah. So Laura Murphy, she's been a wonderful ally of ours for years with putting legislation forward. So right now, all the legislation for this year is wrapped up.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done. But there was a bill put forward in the Senate, so we're going to have to reintroduce that next year. But it was Laura Murphy that introduced that for us. Rep. Graciela Guzman, I believe it is. Yep.
I love her. She's been on this. Yes.
I figured you guys probably would have talked to her at one point.
Love her.
She was supportive of it. There are a couple others who have been supportive of other bills in the past. And so, that's something that we're definitely going to work on next year.
Are you, because I'm a nerd, and I used to be an auditor, and are you like knowledge sharing with other states to be like how they implemented this across like different municipalities, different legislative members type thing? Is there like a community that is like, this is how it works?
So there definitely is, because there's all these different statewide organizations that are working towards the same kind of goal. Unfortunately, not all of it is knowledge that applies across the board, because all the states are so different in what their processes are. So we have tried to take what we can from where other states have had their successes, but there's not necessarily a ton that's super applicable to this. Right. That's a great question, though.
It's a novel idea, right? You're taking what was a traditional election concept, and now we're introducing this, and so people are gonna be like, "What the hell?" It's like, "What's going on?" Type thing. It's like, no, this actually could work, but you have to move from this point to this point type thing. And it takes people. I also worked in change management. It takes time to move from this point to this point. So it's an uphill battle, in my opinion. But I think it's a worthy battle. But I'm thankful that you guys are doing it. And Ben, what do you haven't really said much.
Well,
because you kind of came in at the fly, and then
right now, and since I started this job on Monday, I've tried to be a sponge. And
you started Monday, okay.
As much as I could. Yeah, I know it's kind of a crazy first week.
But you've done a good amount of work so far with the state legislature, and also with I think at the Chicago level for other work. So you're kind of familiar with what it takes and the process of, making a bill become a law and everything. Not necessarily with ranked choice voting.
Yes, I've seen how the sausages is made at multiple factories.
I said that yesterday when we were talking about economics. And also, if you can work in Chicago politics, you can work anywhere, basically.
Basically,
that would be an interesting topic to discuss. I've got 30 minutes after this break if you guys want to stay around, if you are cool with that.
Yeah,
cool.
I think we have time.
Well, we still have a few minutes before we go to the break, but then we have to have John Fugelsang on, which if you've ever listened to John Fugelsang, he's like my Jesus, because he reads the Bible and knows the Bible. Okay, so Ben, the working in Chicago bureaucracy, how does that look like? I know.
That's a tough question to unpack.
You only have 5 minutes. You're good.
How does the Chicago bureaucracy look like? Well, I'm still fairly new to the whole scene, but from what I've seen, there are a lot of residual pieces of the Democratic political machine that has been operated for decades.
The dailies, you can say the dailies.
The dailies, yes, for sure. So there are some residues there, and there's a lot of I don't think ranked choice voting in particular is going to be a particularly hard sell to a lot of the alders in city council, which is nice. But it will take a little bit of creative work, I think. What do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, so when it comes to Chicago in particular, I mean, you're essentially working with with a congressional body. I mean, it's 50 alders plus the mayor. So a lot of people, when they think of a city, they're thinking of maybe 5 or 10 or something like that. But I mean, it's like New York. It's an entire legislative body. And so it's a lot of people that you need to convince.
Representing millions of people.
Yeah.
That you gotta, that they have to report to. And cause
absolutely,
they work for us. Sometimes they forget that.
Yeah, and we have been doing this work of building in Chicago for years now, and starting to build relationships with alders, and it is something that a lot of the alders are already very on board with. Okay. They recognize the benefit of RCV, both from the voter standpoint and just from the logistical standpoint. It would make it so the city wouldn't have to hold runoffs anymore. It would save approximately $20 million and rising every voter cycle.
That was going to be my next question. Again, a nerd and an auditor. The cost of a runoff, the cost of when it was Lori Lightfoot and Tony Park, that was a expensive.
Yeah, so most recently, so it goes up anywhere from like 2 to 4 million every cycle. It's rising every cycle, but most recently it was 19.8 million for just the runoff. And that was just the cost of running the runoff. So that did not include the cost of the extra approximately 4 weeks of the campaign cycle. Sure. Yeah. So that was monumentally more than 20 million.
Plus you have to staff the locations that people are going to vote into, and you have to it's just John Fugelsang is going to talk about this. We could feed the hungry, house the homeless. We could do all that with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, and $20 million is not going to fix Chicago's budget issues.
Right, no.
But the fact is $20 million could absolutely be used on something else.
Yeah, I agree.
And it also, I think it's really nice for it to take away that uncertainty for the candidates as well. It makes it so any candidates running, they know how long that campaign cycle is going to be.
I'm not cutting off, but we have a hard break. But we are here driving home Patti Vasquez, Dan Schaefer filling in for her, Rebecca Williams, and Ben Nagy talking about ranked choice voting. And we will be back after this news break.
Gratitude. Gratitude in Webster's dictionary is simply defined as the state of being grateful. This is Dr. Anna Pellick from Total Dentistry in Palatine, Illinois, in a state of gratefulness. Grateful for my big, beautiful family. Grateful for my staff and patients. And grateful to get up every morning to do what I love, creating smiles. November is the month of gratitude and thankfulness, and I encourage all to step back and count your blessings. We live in one of the greatest countries in the world. Can you imagine living in a country without the freedoms or liberties we enjoy? I can't. So this month, let's all find our bliss. Let's appreciate our family, friends, and jobs, and of course, our beautiful smiles. This is Dr. Anna Pellick, grateful to use my freedom of speech to say thank you to the WCPT listeners, to my patients, to my great staff, families, and friends. Total Dentistry, a general dental practice like no other. And visit us at totaldentistry.org.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix, and boom, you're missing a part. But it's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay, and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The Federal Aviation Administration says it's now going to roll back some of the flight restrictions it's imposed. Ed Donahue has details.
The Federal Aviation Administration says it's going to roll back some flight restrictions. Even though the government shutdown is over, the FAA says the current mandatory 6% flight cuts are being downgraded to 3%. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has repeatedly said restrictions will remain until staffing at air traffic control facilities stabilizes and safety metrics improve. Meantime, at the airport.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be worse.
Fajin Noel was flying out of Dallas-Fort Worth.
It's smooth. TSA was okay, so I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
How long it will take for the aviation system to stabilize is unclear. Duffy has said controllers and other FAA employees should receive 70% of their back pay soon, with the rest to come. Ed Donahue, Washington.
A bankruptcy judge says he will approve the Sackler family and Purdue Farmers latest deal to settle thousands of lawsuits over the toll of opioids. Jeff Mulvihill has details.
The deal calls for members of the family to contribute up to $7 billion over the next 15 years. Unlike other settlements, this one has provisions for some individuals and their survivors to receive payments. Those are expected to be around $8,000 or $16,000, depending on the exact details of each claim and how many people take up the offer. I'm Jeff Mulvihill. I'm at U.S. Bankruptcy Court in New York City.
An immigrant who was arrested after a Milwaukee judge allegedly helped him dodge federal agents has been deported. Eduardo Flores Ruiz pleaded guilty to illegally re-entering the U.S. And in Washington state, health officials say a resident has bird flu of a different type than seen in previous infections. This is AP News. Atop the NFL right now, Drake May and the Patriots at 9-2.
New England's second-year quarterback tells the AP his team's unexpected success hasn't come as a shock to him.
Nothing easy to surprise me. When you put the work in and you got good players and good coaches, you're going to get a result that you want.
May's year two growth has been on full display. He leads the league in passing yards and ranks second in touchdowns. Pat's tight end Hunter Henry.
Shoot, he's my MVP, man.
May is also garnering MVP consideration around the sport. He was showered with MVP chants by New England fans during Thursday night's 27-14 win over the Jets.
I just appreciate them for embracing me, just trying to embrace this city and give these fans and this team and just myself, just leave it all out there and give them everything I got.
Gethin Coolbaugh, Foxborough, Massachusetts.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight, a low temperature of 56 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Saturday, partly sunny with a high temperature of 68 degrees, and winds out of the west at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Sunday, sunshine, cooler with a high of 48, northwest winds up to 25 miles an hour. Monday, sunny with a high temperature of 46 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 64.
WCPT replay.
Very happy to welcome John Fugelsang back to our airwaves.
The history of America is that we're the only nation where our Christianity is completely entwined with white supremacy. No other country on earth has that history but us. The entire history of America are these revoltingly horrible, toxic Christians pushing slavery, pushing segregation, but the flip side is there's always the other Christians, the ones who follow Jesus and their allies, non-Christians and atheists, the liberal Christians, who have pushed back. When the Christians were doing segregation, it was a Baptist minister, Martin Luther King, who used the scriptures to shame these guys. Throughout the whole history of this country, Christians have just fought for the most evil policies, and Christ followers and their allies have always had to beat back the toxic Christians.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing
Hello, everybody. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. This is Dan Schaefer filling in for Patti. She is traveling. The woman never gets rest, so she is on a well-deserved trip, but she's also going to be working because if you've ever met the woman, she's always working. I do want to say thank you to our listeners in Minnesota, KTNF AM 950. Also, 1150 KKNW in Seattle. And we always love our WCPT 820 listeners here in Chicago on the Heartland Signal. I am in the studio with, most importantly, Lady B, because she just makes it look like we know what we're doing here. But we are also chatting with Rebecca Williams and Ben Nagy about from FairVote, Illinois, and ranked choice voting, and we touched on a few topics of it. The one thing that I do want to follow back up on is the cost of an election and the cost of a runoff, and how ranked choice voting can actually save money for a specific, because you were saying how largely now it's municipalities is what's implementing ranked choice voting. Mm-hmm. And, a couple, Chicago here, a couple $2-3 million could go a long way to feed homeless people or so the cost benefit of ranked choice voting.
Yeah, so Chicago is the only municipality in Illinois that does runoffs for its municipal elections. So it says, yes, we need people to get a majority to win. And in order to do that, we're going to make voters come out a second time and vote. They don't get a majority the first time. Huh?
They won't come out. We struggled to get them out the first time.
Often they come out, but it's a whole project to get them to come out again. Most recently it cost $19.8 million just for the logistics of running that second election. Costs a lot for the candidates, of course, and not to mention all of the extra get out the vote efforts. Again, voters do come out again, but that is very likely due to intensive efforts from groups across the city to make sure voters come out again so that their voice is actually heard and that they are not disenfranchised. Even if they did come out and vote the first time, they say, hey, got to come out and vote again.
Yeah. I've done door knocking. I don't like door knocking, but my older woman is like one of my favorite people, and whatever she asks me to do, I will do. But I hate door knocking. But it does take, like you were saying, like organizations, it takes time and effort, and like a Sunday morning, you got to go out and knock on doors and be like, hey, you know what? We got a runoff coming up. You got to vote, type thing. Ranked choice voting would eliminate that? Or
it makes it so it's just one election. So from the candidate perspective, they know how long their campaign cycle is. It's just that one election. For all the groups that are, helping campaign for a certain candidate or just doing general get out the vote work, they just have to do it the once.
Okay.
They're not having to do it multiple times. It takes away that uncertainty and the unnecessary second cycle.
Agreed.
I will also say, so Chicago is the only place that does runoffs in Illinois, but it varies quite a bit from city to city how the particulars of their election rules, and some of the cities do primaries with their, and not partisan primaries, just primaries. It's sort of dependent on how many people are running. So that was a big thing in Evanston when we were campaigning to see if voters wanted ranked choice voting there. One of the things we brought up with a lot of voters was this will eliminate the need for a primary, because they had this really odd system where sometimes they would have a primary, sometimes they wouldn't. And it was frankly pretty awful for voters and for candidates because it would change every cycle. It was just dependent on how many people were running. And that's not good.
I agree.
For getting voter turnout.
Yeah.
People just need regularity in what's happening.
That's kind of where I was going with the whole concept of ranked choice voting and people being like, but I like the way that I vote now. But it's like, no, but actually this could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Just needs to be explained effectively, right? Which you were doing a very fabulous job of doing. But we do have a caller, one of my favorites, if Lady B is good with that, Steve from the Gold Coast. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Yes, I think it's a really interesting topic, and I would remind people that under the current system, say for instance in Chicago, so you find out before Election Day that likely nobody is going to win enough votes so that we have a definitive candidate and a victor. So in other words, you're discouraged from actually going to the polls until you have only two candidates, and then you figure to yourself, as a lot of voters do, well, I'll just vote in that election. So, it creates this additional...
Hey, Steve, I don't want to cut you off. We had some headphones issues. Can you repeat your statement, please?
Oh, okay. So, one of the arguments, especially with regard to how we do it here in Chicago, is that, people watch and they keep track of the polls and, weeks and days out, you figure out that, nobody's going to get enough votes to be the winner. So, in other words, we're going to have a runoff, so why do I need to go to the polls? And it actually discourages that process and encourages people to wait until there's only two candidates remaining. So, there's an argument to be made for that. Now, to be fair, some of the critics of ranked choice voting will tell you that in terms of saving money, there is a huge upfront cost because it's going to mean changing the system, changing machines, and that sort of thing in order to accommodate this. I think it's worth it. But again, to be fair, there are some critics of some of this. There's also this whole question of exhausted votes and other things. So the fact is that I, like a lot of other people, think that it is a better system than the one that we currently have. Does it mean it's perfect and isn't potentially flawed in some cases? No, it doesn't mean that. We're just arguing that it's better than what we have. And of course, the irony of ironies is that the people who would be in charge of actually changing the system to give us this are the people who have no incentive to do so in many cases. So, the two-party system favors the people who are making those decisions because, let's face it, the people who are making those decisions are Democrats or Republicans, and they pretty much like that system to remain as it is. So it's an uphill battle, but worth fighting.
Yeah, so I want to, and Steve, you can stay on the line, but I want to ask Rebecca, the cost of implementation versus what we're currently, is that a concern?
Yeah, so this is definitely an important thing to address. So when it comes to implementation for a place like Chicago or really anywhere with Cook County, fortunately, we don't need to change machines here. So Dominion can already run RCV. It would be a small cost to get the RCV module, potentially $50,000, something like that. So we're looking at a pretty nominal cost.
Surrounding error.
Yeah. Now, it is correct that for at least the first round of using RCV, you do want to do a significant voter education campaign. So maybe, let's say we get RCV on the ballot in Chicago, voters vote yes for it, 'cause of course they should. They see why it would be so beneficial. Maybe the very first election, we don't actually save much money because we use a good chunk of that $20 million for voter education. But that is not something that you have to do every election cycle.
Right.
So the first cycle, it might be kind of a wash, close to a wash. After that, though, you would just be incorporating that with whatever typical voter education stuff you put out there. And you would pretty much be eliminating that 20+ million cost.
Got it. Okay. Steve, your thoughts on that?
Oh, yes, and I think that's a great answer because, again, it depends on where you're talking about implementing this. If you're talking about Chicago, again, our system allows us to much more seamlessly do this. Other places, not so much the case. And as your guest pointed out, there is a learning curve. Obviously, we'll have to invest in educating the public and then also probably poll workers and so forth. So, yes, there's a little bit of, an upfront cost, but, again, well worth the savings in my view. Again, not a perfect system. I don't think that there is such a thing, but again, well worth the trade-off as compared to the system that we currently have.
I agree with you completely, my friend. And I always love when you call in.
Thank you very much.
I really do love when you call in. Thank you. No, I could tell you a story about. I went to college in De Pere, Wisconsin, right outside of Green Bay. And Wisconsin has this weird infatuation with roundabouts, which I'm not.
So does Sedona.
Okay.
But it kind of makes sense for Sedona.
But what you were talking about with like the investment for voting, they spent so much money to teach somebody how to use a roundabout, and it was a 2-lane roundabout. Okay, so it was kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. Okay,
2 lanes.
It was 2 lanes.
Wow.
But like to your point, like they did it, they invested, and it works, and it's fine, And then we can go into infrastructure and all the other, I think that the initial investment is going to be something that will be required, but I think that the return on said investment will be good. Do we have to break, Lady B?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we got to take a break here. Driving home, Patti Vasquez. Lady B's keeping me on task here. Dan Schaefer filling in. We'll meet y'all after the break.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Chronic pain can be overwhelming, and it gets more common as you get older. There's no simple cure, but in my new book called It Doesn't Have to Hurt, I explore a bunch of ways to find relief and even prevent pain from happening to you. One way is by improving your nutrition. Eating the right foods can help fight inflammation, which drives pain and accelerates aging. Start with foods that are high in anti-inflammatory nutrients, like fruits and vegetables. Then, add foods with healthy fats, like olive and other plant-based oils, avocados, oily fish. Make sure you're eating foods high in antioxidants and fiber, such as whole grains, oatmeal, nuts, berries, and beans. A few years ago, I started to follow an anti-inflammatory diet, and I noticed changes in my regular aches and pains within just a couple weeks. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And hello, everybody. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez, Dan Schaefer filling in. I have two of my new best friends, Rebecca and Ben here from FairVote, Illinois. Voting is a concept that we realized two weeks ago, where voters came out, and it was kind of a, well, politically, it was scary because you know who is in the White House is, I'm not going to say what he's doing in his pants, but the effect of voting in this, where do you see the projection going moving forward? Like people, like women's rights, LGBT rights, like how do you see that moving forward?
In relation to ranked choice voting, or
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
throughout? So we always want to point out that ranked choice voting it's a nonpartisan reform.
Sure.
It's not really about propping up any sort of platform or party. It just does a really good job of better reflecting the will of the people in a given area.
Yeah.
So, for instance, in New York City, they use ranked choice. So New York City uses partisan primaries, and then they have a general mayoral and city council election. And what we saw there was they used ranked choice voting in their primaries, and Zohran Mamdani was chosen as the Democrat candidate and went on to win the general election. Sometimes people think that ranked choice voting is all about getting really centrist or moderate candidates. And that will be the case in a lot of places, because a lot of places people are more centrist or moderate. But if you get places like New York City where, people are really hungry for change, there's really a deep desire for progressive policies and everything, then something like this is going to better enable that.
Yeah.
So we saw that with New York City, and also even with just things like, I can't speak to certain policies, but things like getting better diversity within our elected bodies, getting more women representatives. St. Paul, Minnesota, a lot of cities in Minnesota, shout out to them, and FairVote Minnesota, they use ranked choice voting, and in St. Paul, they just elected.
How did that work?
Yeah,
Like, it was
so
pretty amazing.
Yeah. So they use it for their city elections. They just elected their first female mayor. So that is great. In Salt Lake City, going a little west, that city council is majority women for the first time.
When you say Salt Lake City, you're like, really?
Yeah.
Yes, that is amazing. Okay.
Yeah. And Utah is actually an interesting one because the state legislature in Utah, they passed a bill many years back, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that made it so cities could just really easily adopt ranked choice voting if they wanted.
Oh.
It didn't even have to go through the voters the way we have to in Illinois. So a lot of city councils actually chose to adopt it there, Salt Lake City included. And yeah, it's working well. Voters like it.
Yeah. I love how where states that we would not normally see progress. I say progress as progressive views. We're seeing it. It's like Wisconsin. They preserved the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court. In Illinois, we are narrowly there. Like, we got 2 or 3 that if we lose, then we're screwed. But even like Kansas and like Missouri, and like state-specific elections, people are coming out to vote, and I do think that the ranked choice voting concept is valid in where, again, like I said before, I don't like this, I don't like that, but I do like that, and so now it's like 1, 2, 3, cool. in the end, if I get 3, still good. Like, that's it, you know? It's not like 1 or 2, you know? And it's like, well, now we're all screwed type thing, you know? And I do think that gives the voter the ability of choice and flexibility of choice.
Well, and it's encouraging more choice.
Yeah.
So obviously there are certain types of races, like races for Congress or our state legislature, where we're typically only going to have 2 choices. We're going to have the one Republican, the one Democrat. Often no third-party candidates because our ballot access is trash here. But in things like municipal races and everything, we could have more choice.
Yeah.
However, often candidates who might be thinking about running, they are told not to run. They're told you need to wait your turn. They're told you're just going to be a spoiler. A lot of these things happen behind the scenes that voters never know about.
Right.
And it really limits our choice and makes it so we don't have the opportunity to bring fresh blood, new ideas in. And I think that is something that we start to see a lot with the places that use ranked choice voting.
Yeah. Are you planning on running for office at any point?
I am not. Okay.
Everyone asked me that question. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I really like myself.
I have too many enemies.
I think I would have to not want to like my life to run for office.
Everybody that I know who is in politics tells me not to run for politics.
Yeah.
So,
but, shout out to the people who really care and are willing to do it. Because obviously we need people to do it. So that's not, an insult or anything. It's a recognition that it's a really difficult job, and it's not
thankless.
quite it's not quite what I'm interested in doing.
No. I'll be your chief of staff, but I'm not going to actually run for anything. But that's cool. I like saying no to people, so I can actually, if you ask my husband, that's not accurate. But I like saying, like, the chief of staff's like, no, done. But never running for the actual position of the office type thing. Yeah, no. It's a weird time that we're in. And I think that we are balancing tradition and new things. Ranked choice voting is new for a lot of people. Sorry, I'm just checking my hard break here. Okay. But I think that the progression of this is what it used to be, this is what it could be, is a really interesting conversation to have. And I think that when you have you two beautiful people here talking about it, that conversation could actually happen, and people may move a little bit to the other side type thing, like that's just my theory. I don't know.
I will say, I'm very aware, we're very aware that we're in a time when there are so many issues that are really, really pressing. And, that people,
minor details,
that seem so at the forefront that people have to focus on right away. And of course, it's incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just one of those things where we are continuing. It's a long game, and we're working on it in the background because it's not one of those things that's going to immediately make a difference in someone's life. And of course, all of those things are really important.
Correct.
But this is something where I believe over time in our system, it can really make a difference, not only in the way candidates operate and run and everything, but in the way voters actually turn out and participate.
We're at a hard break right now. We are going to take a break here, driving home with Patti Vasquez. Dan Schaefer filling in, and we will be back right after this break.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight, a low temperature of 56 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Saturday, partly sunny with a high temperature of 68 degrees, and winds out of the west at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Sunday, sunshine, cooler with a high of 48. Northwest winds up to 25 miles an hour. Monday, sunny with a high temperature of 46 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 63.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Ooh, just what I needed. A mug. This time of year, what do you give? When it's your extra concert, game, or special event tickets to VetTix, you're giving our nation's brave service members and veterans an amazing experience. Give something to those who gave. VetTix. For more information on how you can make a difference right now, or to become a VetTixer, go to vettix.org.
When it comes to health, we're all on our own journey. Our challenges aren't always visible to those around us. You may be living with aches and pains, fatigue, shortness of breath, or other symptoms that make it difficult to manage everyday life. These problems can be the result of a variety of conditions, including long COVID, which 1 in 5 adults who've had COVID-19 may develop, according to the CDC. When symptoms linger, they could lead to feelings of isolation, but you don't have to go through it alone. For challenges like these, physical therapy is the solution. Physical therapists are the licensed healthcare providers moving you to better health. They can improve your quality of life through hands-on care, patient education, and prescribed movement. No matter where you are on your health journey, your physical therapist and physical therapist assistant can help. When we work together, we feel better together. So choose more movement. Choose better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit ChoosePT.com to find a physical therapist near you or ask your primary care provider for a referral. This message is provided by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And hello, everybody. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. This is Dan Schaefer filling in for Patti Vasquez. I am joined in the studio with the fabulous Lady B, and also Rebecca Williams and Ben Nagy from the FairVote Illinois organization. But I'm fangirling right now because we have John Fugelsang on the line to talk about his new book, a New York Times bestseller, Separation of Church and Hate. John, how are you, my friend?
Oh, Mr. Schaefer, I'm so honored to be here. I've sort of been whoring myself all over CPT today, and it's really an honor to drag you down to my level. Thank you so much for having me.
I honestly, I got the text yesterday from Jerry, who helps coordinate with Patti Vasquez's show, and he's like, try not to die because John Fugelsang might be on the show. And I was like, I'm going to die.
No, please don't die. If you died, that'd be tragic. Because then it would be awkward for me. I'd be the real victim there.
We met on a Sexy Liberal tour, and you give the best hugs. And so I just want to say thank you for being you, and thank you for calling out so-called Christians for being so-called Christians. So tell me about your book.
Thank you. What a lovely thing of you to say. My book is a book that I spent about 13 years writing and pitching. It is called Separation of Church and Hate, a sane person's guide to taking back the Bible from fundamentalist, fascist, and flock-fleecing frauds. And it is a book for all kinds of non-believers and atheists and agnostics and Christians and believers of every faith, for anyone of any spiritual background who's ever going to have to deal with a right-wing Christian or a fundamentalist or a Christian nationalist in their job, in their school, in their community, their family, their government, their school board. Right-wing Christians do not fight for the things that the character of Jesus in the Bible talks about and commands and teaches. They don't care about humility. They don't want to welcome the stranger. They don't care about individuals and nations caring for the poor and sick. They are not opposed to the death penalty like Jesus. Right-wing Christianity does what it's always done. It cares about power. And it will use Jesus to get more power while legislating against everything the guy in the book actually talks about. So this is a book about how the loudest, most obnoxious Christians now and throughout history don't really have much in common with the homeless brown-skinned Nazarene who hung out in the poor neighborhoods of Galilee. And it takes all of the issues that divide us, feminism, abortion rights, LGBTQ equality, poverty, healthcare policy, gun safety, and shows, even if you're an atheist and debating with a right-wing Christian, Jesus is probably on your side.
Well, I was just going to say, wasn't Jesus a migrant, undocumented?
Yeah.
And you point that out.
He sure was.
Pointedly
If you look at,
in your book. You point that out pointedly.
When he was born, not when they went to Bethlehem for the census, although that whole story has always struck me as kind of weird. In what world would you have a census where people had to go back to their ancestral hometown? But after Jesus was born, Joseph has the dream that Herod's going to try to kill the baby, so he takes the family to hide out in Egypt until Jesus is old enough and they can come back safely to Nazareth. So right there, black and white. Our Lord and Savior apparently spent his formative years as an undocumented refugee teen.
Yeah, and one thing that I've always wanted to talk to you about, and I haven't had the chance to, in Texas, when they were putting those buoys in the river with barbed wire, and they were trying to, that's where we're doing God's work, and I was like, that's not God's work at all.
No.
And I'm questioning your humanity at this point.
Look, I mean, I'm not for total open borders or amnesty. That was Ronald Reagan who fought for those things, not anyone I know. And in the case of the Bible, it's really kind of simple. I mean, I'm against the criminalization of migrants, these racists calling them illegals. They're Christian refugees, okay? I've never heard a right-wing person call a white lawbreaker an illegal. I've never heard Megyn Kelly call a white criminal an illegal. I've never heard someone call an adjudicated rapist with 34 felony convictions who's a white billionaire an illegal. And the reality is, and all you got to say to your racist uncle about this, your coworker, look, God of the Old Testament commands us to welcome the stranger. God of the Old Testament says we have to treat the alien as one of our own. And then Jesus shows up in Matthew 25 and says individuals and nations will be judged by how they welcome the stranger. So why should I listen to you and Donald Trump and reject God and Jesus? See, if you do it right, you don't have to fight these people. Make them fight with God. Make them fight with the Bible. They're going to weaponize this book and try to push their narrow right-wing version of it on every level of society. We're allowed to see if they've really even read it.
Yeah. Well, and you said your racist uncle, like, Thanksgiving and Christmas is upon us. How do you, okay, random question. How do folks approach Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Honestly, my best approach is try to avoid politics.
Yeah.
Try to avoid religion. You don't want to be that guy, right?
You've
I
honestly
recommend
never
sports,
met me, but
Star Wars. Yeah, but you know how it is, because here's the deal. Many of our right-wing relatives, not all, and I'm not talking about the nice conservative ones. I'm talking about, the right-wing ones. Dan, the ones who they're still mad about Pride Month and it's November. Those ones. Yeah. They have spent their entire lives being told by Fox News that that liberals look down on them, that we're elitists, that we don't respect them. So I say treat them with so much respect and model that respect. Don't feed the persecution narrative that fundamentalism thrives on. This whole notion of fundamentalism in all world religions is based on, well, people did bad things to us, so we get to be bad to others. You got to be so extra nice to these people. And I find if you know a little bit about the Bible, about whatever issue you're talking about, what Jesus said about it versus whatever they believe. All you got to do is ask questions. It helps to do it in front of the whole family at dinner, not in a vacuum, but just ask them simple questions about any particular issue, and you'll find out how little they... Where does Jesus come out against abortion? Because I know he comes out against the death penalty many times. I mean, abortion is legal and free in Israel. Jesus' religion never once bans it. So when exactly does Jesus or Moses or Elijah or St. Paul or anyone speak out against it? Just by asking them questions. You can find out that they don't really know the Bible, and most importantly, they're counting on you not knowing the Bible all that well. They use this book as camouflage, and I wrote Separation of Church and Hate to be a guide for camouflage removal.
So I've read the Bible probably 5 times. You've read it way more than I have. But you also, I was listening to Joan Esposito when you were on, and Mary Magdalene. People separate. They associate with, well, you said, ladies.
Prostitution.
Yeah, prostitution, the oldest profession. And that's in the Bible. And also, what did they say?
No, she's
about
not.
that?
But at no point in the Bible is she ever called a prostitute.
Correct.
Ever. Not
Correct.
once.
Also, is abortion ever mentioned in the Bible?
Well, abortion is mentioned in the Bible a couple of times, and it's interesting where it is mentioned. In a lot of folks like to quote Jeremiah, "Before you were formed in the womb, I knew you." And they say that's the reason that governments of men should be able to force citizens to be pregnant against their will. Because Jeremiah, we can force a 14-year-old rape victim to be pregnant by her stepdad because Jeremiah says, "Before you were in the will, I knew you." Now, Jeremiah is not God or Jesus. What that is God telling the prophet Jeremiah that he was always destined to be a prophet even before he was conceived, because God knows the future, right? God knows the past. God knows everything. So it's not saying that you should incarcerate women for terminating pregnancies. The Bible never says that. And later in the book of Jeremiah, he's having a bad day, and we have Jeremiah's lament. And at one point, he wishes that his father had killed him in the womb, which tells us this was a thing people did back then. And we already know this was a thing people did back then. It was common in Egypt and Rome. And yet God never thought to have Jesus or Moses or any of the prophets speak against it in the Bible. Life begins with first breath,
and
not with conception.
In your opinion, how many times has the Bible been interpreted?
Oh, I mean, thousands and thousands.
Thank you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's the longest, greatest game of telephone tag in history, often written by scribes in quill pens with ink and very little light and candles. I mean, and then the copies would make mistakes, and those mistakes would be copied into future copies. It's an elaborate game of telephone, which is why so many Christians do what I call the anything but Jesus thing, where they'll go to the Old Testament or St. Paul to justify their hang-ups or their homophobia, or that they think God just likes men better than women, because none of that comes from Jesus.
Yeah.
And, I happen to think that you get a lot farther with your uncle by showing him in the Bible where Jesus was not an immigrant-hating homophobe than if you just call your uncle an immigrant-hating homophobe. God also gives abortion tips for pregnant unfaithful wives in Numbers chapter 5, by the way. And again, if God knows everything, all that's come and all that will happen, right? That's what we believe from Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Before you were formed in the womb, I knew you. Well, then you can I have a whole list of questions in the abortion chapter to ask your right-wing loved ones. Does God, if God knows everything that will happen, does God know which babies will be aborted and which ones won't be? Does God knowingly put a soul into fetuses he knows are going to be aborted? If he does, then that makes God the murderer, right? But if God doesn't put a soul into a fetus that's going to be aborted, is it still a person? These are questions they've never thought of, because these folks have a very simple, and it's not always badly intentioned, but they don't know the teachings of Jesus. He was against the death penalty. He never called for a ban on abortion. And if abortion is safer for a woman's health than pregnancy or childbirth is, which it is, then none of us men have the right to ever tell a woman what she can do.
Correct. Okay. And my favorite thing about you is that you can call everybody out and quote the scripture that they claim to be acting on. And
well, I had a weird childhood, Dan. I had a weird childhood with a couple of ex-clergy. My mom was a nun. My dad was a Franciscan. And so this is what I talked about because I sucked at sports. So I was into this.
I hate sports so much.
I don't hate sports. I just suck at sports.
Yeah, so do I. John Fugelsang, thank you so much. How long are you in Chicago? What do you...
I'm not in Chicago. I'm here to do a quick plug because we're doing a pay-per-view.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're doing a quick pay-per-view special tomorrow night. We just shot a show in D.C., and it's the Separation of Church and Hate tour. It's a lot of very inappropriate stand-up with way more dirty jokes than a show about the Bible should be allowed to have. And we have special tribute to J.D. Vance and Trump and even Dick Cheney, rest in peace. And it runs through a lot of what's in the book. And we just shot it with a packed house in D.C. this week. And our very special guest who comes out at the halfway point for a Q&A is the great Glenn Kirshner of Justice Matters and MSNBC, former JAG and one of the smartest legal minds I know. It's a really fun show, and you can get the whole thing tomorrow at meethook.live/JF. That's meethook.live/JF.
Yes.
And thank you so much for having me.
And your book is Separation of Church and Hate. Everybody listening, please go and buy it. And,
please, before it's banned in Florida, get your copy.
Yeah, John, whenever you are in Chicago, please come hang out.
Love to.
Okay. Thank you so much
thrill.
for everything you do.
Dan, thanks for everything you do. I was so happy to hear that I get to be on with you tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, God, I'm fangirling right now, but okay.
Thank you.
This
Have
is
a great
John
evening.
Fugelsang. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. We're going to take a quick break. We want to give our great thanks to John Fugelsang and reminder to buy the book, Separation of Church and Hate. We'll be right back.
Think Theory Radio. We're joined by Allie Mae Miller, hypnotherapist.
Hypnosis is portrayed in media in general. Manipulation, mind control. People think it's like a truth serum. My clients describe it as they're in control the whole time. It's definitely not a truth serum. The client decides what they share with me, even in a state of hypnosis.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant to U.S. Aging. Learn more at yougotthis.usaging.org.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
No matter how you served.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I missed so much time with her.
No matter what you're going through.
Before, I knew what to expect every day. And now I have so many decisions to make. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
We are here for you.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
If you or a veteran in your life is experiencing thoughts of suicide, dial 988. Then press 1 to reach the Veterans Crisis Line.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
From city streets to political beats, you're driving it home with Patti Vasquez. Where progressive talk fuels the ride.
Hello, everyone. This is Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. Dan Schaefer filling in for Patti while she takes a much-needed trip while she's also working on her trip because that's what she does. The woman never sleeps. We just had a really awesome conversation with John Fugelsang about his new book, Separation of Church and Hate. And if there's anybody that knows John Fugelsang, the man knows the Bible, and it was a really cool conversation. And we are still in the studio because they don't want to leave, apparently, with Rebecca Williams and Ben Nagy, who are here from the FairVote Illinois group, talking about how we should probably change the voting process in, well, we're going to start with municipalities and then states and then country, but ranked choice voting. So Rebecca, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Yeah, so I think...
Also, I'm sorry, how do we support your efforts?
Yeah, well, FairVote Illinois has been officially a 501c3 since beginning of 2020. And yeah, we're working on ranked choice voting throughout Illinois. If there's someone in another state listening, check out fairvote.org, where they've got information on all the statewide orgs that are working on this. So probably most of your listeners are in Illinois, and in that case, check out FairVote Illinois. But if you're in another state, there's another organization. But I've been helping to lead FairVote Illinois for the past little over 3 years. But soon it's going to be Ben Nagy. So I'll just let him wrap up with just kind of what listeners could do to get involved.
Okay, so Ben, I'm going to just, because you came in hot and had to just throw headphones on and sit in front of a microphone.
Yes.
What is best? Is it volunteer? Is it donations? Is it all of the, what works?
That's a great question. And frankly, all the above would be ideal.
Okay.
However, people are coming from different places. They can afford to do different things, whether it's their time and their energy or their money. I just want to encourage people to give how they can. But if you come out and volunteer with us, we're a lot of fun.
Okay.
So you can have a good time. You connect with some great people, and you can help build something really great. If you don't have the time and energy to do that, donations would be awesome also.
Okay. What does volunteering look like?
Could look like many different things. You could be helping us go door to door. You could be helping us at a farmer's market, with a clipboard, trying to talk to people. If you're a really extroverted person, could be operating a table. We could be doing, what are some other kinds of things you think?
Coming up over the next year, if you're in Chicago, maybe you're lobbying your Chicago alderman or alder, telling them why you want ranked choice voting in Chicago so that we can help get it on the ballot here. Maybe if you're anywhere in the state, you're making, next year, once a new bill is introduced, you're making calls to your state rep and state senator saying why you want municipalities to definitely be able to use ranked choice voting. Maybe you're writing a letter to the editor talking about why you like ranked choice voting, which is something you could do really wherever you are.
Okay, that's cool. Have you been finding both donations or volunteer efforts increasing, or have you been experiencing a shortage of help there?
I would say, in terms of our funding, it's held steady to where, what we've been doing has been sustainable. It would always be wonderful to see a good increase in that, because if we've been able to do, I feel like we've been able to do a lot with where we've been at in terms of getting victories, informing way more people across Illinois about ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
But there's also so much more that we can do. And often, that comes with more money. So there is that. In terms of volunteers, we can use more there. Our volunteers are amazing. We're basically a volunteer-led organization. But the more we have, that it's kind of, it's twofold. That's why Ben said both are great. We can do, if we get a lot more volunteers, we can be way more impactful. If we get a lot more money, we can be way more impactful. So it's just about where people can contribute.
Yes. Our goal is to grow. So many ways to help us grow. And, if those kind of activities we described don't appeal to you, we could also use your help. If you got skills in graphic design, computers, if you like people, if you want to help train people, if you like public speaking, so many opportunities to use skills, build skills that you want to build, that you want to enjoy employing to, help improve our election system. There's just so many ways to participate, and we would love to have you.
See, now you came up. You're in.
The other...
You're like sitting here just kind of like quiet for a little bit, and now you're like, yeah, this is what we need. This is the...
I just had to hit my stride.
Yeah.
Took a minute, but I'm here.
And the other just little thing I'll say of a pitch as to why people should choose this in particular is it's a very like nice, chill issue to work on. It's not one where people are going to be yelling at you or people are going to be really angry about you trying to do this. And maybe some people like working on those things, right? But I think a lot of people don't. But this is an area where you can be really impactful and you can help change the system in a meaningful way. And it's also not really divisive.
Yeah.
It's one where it's more about making people aware of it as opposed to really convincing them that this is a good thing.
Yeah, no, and I think it's what I was talking about earlier is it's not going to be, I always say, and I said this yesterday, changing the course of the nation, it's like an aircraft carrier. Like, it's not going to happen right away.
Right.
But it needs to start making smaller turns to get to a certain point. And so, yeah, the work that you guys are doing, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year. It's not going to happen in 2 years because it's 330 million people. I mean, how are you going to do that? But you got to start somewhere. And I really do like the work that you guys are doing. And I think that the framework that you guys have set up, I think will be effective. And I'm happy to be a part of it. It'd be fun to enact some change in this country because God knows we need it these days here. Yeah.
I can certainly appreciate that. And folks, one more thing. If you're feeling despair out there, the antidote to that is action. So come take action, whether it's with us or with someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. It'll connect you with people who are inspiring you, doing things around you, make you feel better about the state of the world. So
yeah,
please
associate with people. Like literally, just community is what's going to be saving us these days. And if you know somebody that's not feeling part of a community, bring them into yours. That's it. And I am on a hard break here. So this was Driving Home with Patti Vasquez. Dan Schaefer filling in. 30 seconds. Rick Smith is coming up. I don't know what he's going to be chatting about, but I do listen to his show every night, and he always has a good show. But again, this was Driving Home with Patti Vasquez, Dan Schaefer filling in. I will talk to y'all if she wants me to fill in ever again. Have a great weekend, everybody, and be safe and take care of somebody. Take care.
This is Senior Corps. 360,000 volunteers age 55 and older, driving results through service, helping communities recover from devastating disasters.
RSVP plays a valuable role. They're still here helping the unmet needs of the community and the survivors of the devastation.
Making sure that those who need assistance can remain in their own homes.
If I didn't have a senior companion, I would be really lost.
Tutoring and mentoring tomorrow's leaders.
The advantage of having foster grandparents working with the children one-on-one, that's a tremendous benefit.
Visit nationalservice.gov or call 1-800-942-2677. This message brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, but they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
This is